Hi, everybody out in YouTube land. What's good tonight? Um, I'm assuming that I'm live, even though I don't know for sure if I am. It's still this whole Zoom meeting thing is still um witchcraft and trickery to me. Oh boy. Hey, um, let's see what's happening. Okay. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, to land. What's good tonight? Um, oh, jeez. Well, obviously, there. I had to mute myself, go live, so I'm in sync. I'll start again. I hate the way I look on YouTube tonight. Oh, don't look at it then, right? There, we'll go back to here. Let's see. Oh, who's in here with me? Atlantic Coast. Hello. There I was. JK Pioneer. How you doing tonight? Lori James. You live. Sledneck. How's it going? There's ES. Hi, ES. CJC. Well, hello. Let's see. Hey, I should. Where's Huli tonight? I need my Huli. I sent her an email to see if I could get her to come on with me and just be a voice, so I didn't have to talk to myself. And then I don't think I got an email back from her, but let me look. No. So I assume she's busy. She can't do this every day, right? Oh. Okay. So here's what. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Hi, Nomadic Madman. Nice to see ya. Hi, Tony Rusi. Wow. Susie, you look marvelous. Oh, thank you, darling. Marvelous. I let my hair down. Got a beer. Oh, no. I wised up and brought myself a cooler of beers. So if I feel like yapping, I can carry on, So I left myself options without having to leave y'all. I think Willie is under a rock. Willie isn't under. Willie lives with Shiloh Old Snow. I'm drinking. I'll show you guys what I discovered this new beer. It's Budweiser Select 55. It only has 55 calories in it. So I can have a whole bunch. And it's really low alcohol. I can't remember. It doesn't say it anywhere on the can, which I think is bizarre. It should say it on the can, you would think. But I looked it up online and it's like 2.3% alcohol. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it's like beer is good and I can drink a lot fast when I want to. It's just best. Anyway, hello. Hi, okay, Larry. Nomadic Man, what is your take on Shiloh jumping into the chat? Did it help or not? Okay. Should we talk about that? Let's talk about that. First of all, I think it's kind of funny that I think it was planned. I think that whole thing was planned. It's like, how are we gonna um you know get Shiloh into the conversation without getting him on the show or whatever. I think that K-Bro is not a very good actress. She should have been drinking, first of all. She was acting too. Okay, it's just okay, regardless how he got there. What did it help or not? What did he say? What was I loved seeing the puppy. I love knowing that he's walking around with Forrest belt buckle on. But what did we really get to know? I mean, what I don't even know what the point. I mean, what was the to stop any conspiracy, try to put an end to the conspiracies that the family had anything to do with ending the chase, or there was a secret meetings or whatever. I don't. No one ever sends me the memo to any of this stuff, by the way. You guys, I never get the memo. Okay, I'm gonna turn on. No, maybe not. I was gonna put YouTube on oh, I wonder if people are, is there another link out there that there's people waiting for me to be, let me look. Do I have another show not going, or, I wonder if I'm going to crash my computer by logging on 2 different computers at the same time. I go here. I go upcoming live streams. Yeah, right here. There's 8 people waiting. Okay. Maybe this is where Hooli is. Oh. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, no, I don't have a keyboard. Can somebody go in and tell them that I am at another, go into my other chat and tell them because this is the scoop. I'm on Zoom. I'm going through Zoom. This way I can share my screen with you guys and I can get people to join me. If I just go on straight, yay, thank you, Atlantic Coast. I just seen it pop up. Yeah, my hope. Thank you. Okay. And I know, and also Fendi's on tonight. He's got a live show and he's got like a whole panel of a whole bunch of people talking about stuff. And so I know that there's people over there. Anyway, so thank you for joining me. You have a choice tonight. Jack Stoof with 2 F's is in here. You're funny. Why didn't I think of that? Being another, okay. What? Okay. No, Shiloh. I don't buy into all that conspiracy stuff mostly. I got my own, I dream up. So I don't think, I don't think that's gonna be the way that just Shiloh just shows up in a chat room, K-Bro's chat room, to say, no. I don't know. What else? What was really more intriguing was Amy Seek's show. Or wait, oh, it seems like there was a lot this week, but I didn't write any of this down, and I should have, because instead, you know what I was doing? What I did several times is I watched the real Jack Stew's confirmation bias video over and over and over, or listen to it, right? Oh, I should say hi to more people. I see. Hi, King, Your Majesty. Good evening. Whomping Cheetah Hoop. What a fun name to say. Hi, Winston. Good to see ya. Queen Anne. And there's the Queen, and then there's the King. That made me think the petunias I chose this year for my garden are called Queen of Hearts. That made me think of that when I saw Queen Anne. Okay. Okay, I am changing names now. To what? Who are you really? Hi, David. I can't say your name, and you know I can't. Okay. Okay. What are the options with the chest? One, Jack found it and taking his sweet time, running out the clock, that sort of thing. Legal, Spiegel, what is it called? Statute of limitations, crap like that. Okay. Or two, someone else found it and Jack is proxy to take the heat. I have not ruled that out for sure. We can't rule that out. Forrest took it. See number 2. Forrest took it back. And Jack and then he hired Jack to deal with it. Ow. Okay. No need to bow. We have a Jack tonight. Yeah, there's a Jack. A king, a queen, and a Jack. Forrest is our ace. RF. Howdy, Susie. Oh, is that you, Eugene? Are you under the Eugene? Right before I was trying to figure out if I could launch, whatever, figure out Zoom. My phone dinged and it was Godelcon. Eugene sent me $50. $50. And just says, have a great weekend. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. That's amazing. And yeah, I'll probably spend it foolishly. I'm going to do yard work and yard stuff tomorrow. I've got to get stuff planted. I don't have any plants in yet. That's kind of, okay. What am I doing? See, I struggle with organization and attention. Let's start over. I actually sent Jack an email asking him if I could play portions of his snippet of his cognitive bias video tonight and talk about it. I never heard back. I'm afraid that I don't know what he thinks of me. I'm sure Forrest, like, oh my God, Susie Fennhaven, she's one of them 7%. She's a 7%. Tread lightly around that one. Careful. I don't know. I can't only imagine. I hope to God he didn't even, oh my God. I can't think about it. I can't think about it. Anyway, Jack didn't respond, but that is not going to stop me from discussing that video because I think has the snow melted? Oh yeah. We're in full mowing lawns. It's green. It's beautiful here now. It is full on beautiful. Thanks. uh, yeah, veggie plants. I have to grow the green beans, and I planted sweet corn in my yard, and it worked. I actually ate sweet corn. I grew in my backyard, and my backyard's teeny tiny. Anyway, it's so fun. Rewarding is such a I am so connected. It's like a something that's not optional in my world. Like I need to plant stuff, or I don't know what, or it's just like, it's something in me. Born a gardener. Uh-oh. I just clicked on something. I clicked on my own video. Let him sue you. I just clicked on my own video. So there I am. Dang, and I hate how close my big old face is to the. It's too late now, right? Mary Green. Hi, Mary Green. Mary Green. Okay, that's Dale. Okay, so Dale comes on Amy Seek's show and told us about Forrest kidnapping contingency plan where, so do you guys believe Dale, or does that sound like BS, or does that sound like it's just odd? But then again, did he really try and think of everything to a point where came up with kidnapping thing? Like if somebody were to kidnap Forrest, wouldn't he be in Santa Fe? And then what? Then the kidnapper is gonna try to get him all the way up to, or somebody's gonna kidnap when he's in Cody, Wyoming, or in, I don't understand. But if that is true, if there really was a plan in place, and I do believe Dale was so much more connected to this and so much more of a part of one of the part of the machine that made this go. Forrest did not do this alone. He could tell us he did, but he did not. He had a supporting cast of characters, that's for sure. And I think Dale was a huge one. And so do I think he was close enough to Forrest to be a part of a plan such as that? Yeah, I do. And so if that is true, West Yellowstone is in Montana. So it would be and we know it was found in Wyoming. So I mean, but the border is right there. And Mary sent me this great little, should I show them, Mary? Let me see if I pulled it up on here, and I tried to download. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to do is share screen and show this little map that Mary sent me. Here, share screen, here. Okay. But here you can see West Yellowstone as that star. If you can you see my pointer? And then what I find really she has this blue outline. I think this is where she was pointing me, but that lookout tower, like I had look out or overlook or lookout tower is could easily fit into our poem. Terry Scant with Marble Gaze. Or how about so hear me all and listen good. Does that sound like, does that sound like a warning? Hear me all and listen good. That's an exclamation. I don't know. Anyway, where am I? Squirrel. Stop sharing. Oh God. Do you have any guests? Ask Delkanen. I don't have any guests. I don't know if he's really, is he even in here? Does he want to come on and talk about Jack? I want to talk about now I gotta find how to get back to my, there we go. My Zoom meet there. Okay. Be right back. Need a drink. Me too. I'm gonna fluff mine up, take it out of the cooler. Okay. Back to Jack, man. I don't think the hearsay about like for a minute when like last week already so old news or 2 weeks ago when the whole leak information Slough Creek, we figured out who Jack was talking to and yada yada yada, all that noise. And then Cynthia came on and said, yeah, I'm gonna go look at Slough Creek. I think that's great. I'm like, yeah, I'm in, go. But then you give it a couple days, step back a minute and think, what? First of all, the way this information got brought in sucks. Second of all, it's all, this person said this, and they're all trying to through it. It's like 4 people down. It's all a guessing game. So why am I putting any time, effort, or thought into somebody else's guessing game when we know how to play this game? That's not how this game is played. You don't find a place, you don't find Slough Creek and then try to get the poem to say Slough Creek. That's how I was going to play this. That's how I was like, here, do it this way. No. What we need to do is have the poem tell us to go there, just like Jack. I think we need to solve the poem. It's the only way out. Jack's not telling us. I mean, hi, Copper Dan. Hi, how's it going? Happy Friday. Jack is gone. Jack is over. Jack flew the coop. Jack is laying low. I don't know anything. Also known as Gadelkan. Oh yeah, I recognize your United RF. That there is craziest. Exactly, Susie says, King, what did I say? Yes, Susie, the poem. Oh, yeah. Yes. So the only way out, if Jack's not going to tell us, and maybe what if it is because it was in Yellowstone and it is the sticky wickets and it is the whole, and so if somebody else comes out with it, if we all figured it out sitting here or whoever and solved the poem without a doubt, just like he did, and blabbed it, Jack could go, you know, he could have plausible deniability, but yet we could all get closure in knowing that we, you know, like he would have to say to somebody, prove it. Prove. That's where I took that from, you know, and that's impossible. But so I say our way out, everybody, our way out of this finding closure is to figure it out for ourselves, or figure it out without Jack, or just with the clues that Jack has left behind. And what clue, a huge, I think, is he left behind that what is it called? Cognitive bias video. And in that video, Alan Kay, no one had any secret hints before the chase ended. Now everybody had secret hints. Oh, I know. He told Dale. Dale told us that Forrest told him he was 1,000 feet from the chest, or no, 100 feet from the chest, or 100 yards, and then it turned into 100 feet, whatever. And he said, I was never anywhere near Slough Creek. And that makes me laugh because it's like, see, it's a hearsay, hearsay, hearsay. Crap, 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 you know? So anyway, hi, Alan. Did I say hi? That cracks up. Hi, old silo on the farm. Oh, hi, Greg. Dark. The good Greg, not the Greg that sucks. He hasn't answered the poll. Okay. Kadelkin says, in my opinion, Jack may have the treasure chest, but he does not own it. He hasn't answered the poem or doesn't know the answer. I do think he owns it. I do think he figured out the poem. Or if he didn't figure it out and he is the proxy guy, or the, you know, the finder for somebody else, or force hire, whatever conspiracy, however he got there a different way. If he wasn't the one, he dealt with Forrest and him were pictured with the chest together. So that means no matter what, that guy knows the story. He knows the answer to the poem, or how the mechanics. He knows how this worked. Whether Forrest told him or he figured it out on his own, either way, I'm positive that he knows. So that's what I need to know. That's what I need to know. I need to know how it was done, what it is, just like you all do. 100 yards, 300 feet. What's the difference? I don't like the glare of my lamp on my glasses. Okay. Okay, so should I play? I'm gonna find that Jack video and play the cognitive bias piece. Oh, I have it loaded, locked and loaded right here. I did prepare. Look at me now. Okay, I could, this this whole thing could be gone tomorrow. Jack could be, I could get in trouble. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't care. What's the worst thing they could do? Tell me to take the video down, or, you know, copyright strike, take your video down. Okay, I'm going to do this. and then share sound. Pick this one and click share. Okay. Okay. How do I set this up? Okay, this is 26 minutes into his talk. And this is where he starts talking about selective perception bias, puzzler bias. And he's talking about how people are using what they know by working on other puzzles. For instance, the David Blaine puzzle. People are using what they learned working on that, trying to apply that to Forrest's puzzle or Forrest's poem. And here's what he has to say about it. And this is what I find. Okay, let's listen, see what happens.
There are a couple ways I'm going to talk about it. The first is what I would call puzzler bias. So many people are drawn to the Fenn treasure hunt because they're interested in treasure hunt books in general.
Okay. Note, can you guys hear that? Can somebody put that in the chat if everything's cool, if you can hear that? Oh, it's a lag. I don't know how to I don't know how to go back. Okay, I'm gonna keep playing. And assume that you guys can hear it fine. Thank you, Double Omega. Okay, he's talking about other books and Forrest, love books. Here we go.
And solving puzzles, and they fail to appreciate that this is a fundamentally different thing. There is no evidence that Forrest Fenn himself is interested in conventional puzzles. He has shared so much of his life and so many stories by this point. If he was interested in puzzles, we would have heard of it by now. We have no evidence.
Isn't that a good point? If he was interested in other puzzles, we would have heard about it by now. I just think that's funny. We didn't hear anything about that.
Of him making puzzles in the past, and he hasn't created any additional puzzles since the release of The Thrill of the Chase. He has not shown any ability in his life into creating any sort of conventional puzzle. And yet a lot of people consider the Fenn treasure hunt or the poem as a puzzle. And it's interesting, if you search puzzle on Terry Scant, it's always in the question posed to him. It's never in his words. He does not seem to consider it a puzzle.
So that he doesn't consider it as, I am so on board with Jack on this. And you know what? This guy, it's kind of like he's trying to tell us how, with this video, he's trying to tell us how he solved it without telling us how he solved it.
So many of the people who are drawn to this are drawn to its similarity to other treasure hunt books that they've been into, or other puzzles that they may have been successful solving before. And there's a great adage that Forrest himself has used before: to a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And that's selective perception bias.
Yep. And so if you know how to use an A1 cipher, you're going to look at this and use an A1 cipher. If you know how to use anagrams, you're going to anagram the crap out of everything. If you know how to do whatever, it's all those different, they've already been this. Jack is telling us that Forrest used his own, he went off script here.
We have to figure out what game we're playing. And
yes, we do.
It's probably important for us to make the distinction between this and other books that have a puzzle in them.
Oh, right here. This is where I started, where my imagination
say that The Thrill of the Chase is a memoir with a chapter about the time he hid a treasure. And then the next chapter is about the time he hid bells and jars. There just aren't a lot of obvious direct elements in the book about the treasure hunt. And if you read the chapter Important Literature, Forrest tells us why he wrote the book. He believes the stories of his life are as good as any in the great Western canon. That's the reason for the book's existence, as stated in the book itself.
Oh, that's so good. Did you hear what he said? It's like, okay, of course you did.
He does not say in the book, I wanted to hide this treasure chest, so I had to contrive some stories about my life in order to do that. It doesn't really make sense. I think there's a huge disconnect between the Fenn treasure hunters and Fenn himself. A lot of what he seems to get out of it is continually telling us stories, whether in books or scrapbooks, about his life. You know, most presidents don't write more than one memoir. Even though every day they're in office, they're making history, and so there's a natural audience for that material to learn about those decisions. And obviously, Fenn's audience is very important to him, but that audience can't help but think everything out of his mouth is a hint. What brought them into this was the treasure, not wanting to read some Santa Fe art dealer's memoir.
Yes. Point. Is this a memoir or is this a treasure hunting book? This here we have is a treasure hunting book disguised as a memoir.
So, of course, on this subject, there's this famous quote, knowing about head pressures, foot pounds, acre feet, Bible verses, Latin, cubic inches, icons, fonts, charts, graphs, formulas, curved lines, magnetic variation, codes, depth meters, riddles, drones, or ciphers will not assist anyone to the treasure location, although those things have been offered as positive solutions. Excellent research materials are TTOTC, Google Earth, and or a good map. And yet people still try to use things like this. It doesn't make sense to me, but it makes sense in the context of this is what people have brought to other puzzles. And so that's what's fun to them. And that's how they want to solve it. But the problem is we can't solve it how we want to solve it. We have to solve it how it's designed to be solved. This second quote here was on Mysterious Writings. The question posed by Jenny for this: had you read any other treasure hunts and their different methods used to hide treasure before deciding to write a poem? Is there a reason why you chose to write a poem? And he says, thanks, Jenny. I have read only about treasures that were hidden by pirates, and I wish I could find one of those.
Okay. Okay. He just ruled out all the other, treasure hunts and how they were approached. What Jack is pointing to us is the Edgar Allan's Poe, The Gold Bug. This is what I take from this.
Point of reference is Pirates Buried Treasure.
Gold Bug is about Captain Kidd. Okay, I'm going to keep going.
It's not any of the so-called treasure hunt books that came before his hunt. The
Edgar Allan Poe Gold Bug was the first book written, like the first treasure hunt book type book ever written. And Edgar Allan Poe, he's a poet. He's a poet, and it's so I think this is a sneaky way of Jack telling us that, because we have our poem, and then we have the instructions, or we have that weird paragraph after the poem that said, I dreamt I was Captain Kidd on Gardner Island and woke up and I don't know if I found the treasure or not. Well, the Gold Bug, Captain Kidd's treasure was hidden on Gardner Island, right? But the Gold Bug, it was called something else. Starts with S. Doesn't matter. Details, spetails. Am I done with this? Let me see.
That's a very important fact to keep in mind.
Okay. A very important fact to keep in mind is, okay, let's hear that again. Because when Jack says, this is a very important, and this is published, the date on this, do y'all see? It's June 27th, 2019. He already figured everything out by then. So I think, let me go back a couple seconds and hear what he says again.
So I could find one of those. So his point of reference is Pirates Buried Treasure. It's not any of the so-called treasure hunt books that came before his hunt. That's a very important fact to keep in mind. When you read Jenny Kyle's book, there are all sorts of puzzles on all of the different pages. And that's because that's what she enjoys. That's what she enjoys solving.
And side note, side fact, Jenny Kyle worked on the David Blaine treasure hunt, as did Jack. That article written Outdoor Magazine by Dan Barbarosi. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know his name. I will know his name. We will all know his name soon enough. And get it right. Because his book comes out within days, like within 2 weeks. Anyway, God bless America. I can't remember what I was saying. Just like that, it's gone. Oh no, the outdoor article that was published, and then it said that he got to know. It was that he got to know Jack Stu, and then he was telling us about Jack, and he told us that Jack was a treasure hunter. And did the Blaine treasure hunt. So there's a connection to the Blaine treasure hunt connects to another Fenn treasure seeker besides Jenny Kyle. Jenny Kyle did do that search too, and I know that because I learned that through Sassy. Sassy, the one who found Blaine's treasure, right? She's the one who told me that Jenny Kyle worked on that Blaine treasure hunt, and then soon after it was found, Jenny started her Mysterious Writings website. And then then that article, Outdoor Magazine, when Dan was introducing us to Jack, he said that, and this was an article that came out after Jack's name was already known, right? So when he talks, so like, I wonder if he ever dealt with Jenny while working on the Blaine treasure hunt, Okay.
And that's what she enjoys creating. But there's nothing in the thrill of the chase or any of his subsequent writings or interviews that would make you think he has the same sort of interest. So why would you try to use methods of solving things that he was probably unaware of before the Fenn treasure hunters came around?
Yeah.
So how do you combat puzzler bias?
Yeah. How?
I think you have to force yourself to appreciate that this hunt is different than those other hunts.
Hey.
And you have to try to enjoy that aspect. And if that's frustrating, that you can't use these other skills that you've used in other sorts of puzzles, you might want to stop paying so much attention to this one and work on the other treasure hunt books that are out there that still haven't been found that would be a better use of those skills. This hunt is really about a man and his eccentric choice of where to die and how to die.
Okay, we're talking about a man and his eccentric choice of where to die and how to die. And this is different than any of these other treasure hunts. That's what Jack is telling us.
And him wanting you to follow in his footsteps. It's a challenge of empathy.
As I have gone alone in there, he wants you, follow me.
And we have to try to see the world through his eyes if we're going to be successful.
And he was.
So the second big striking thing to me that smacks of selective perception bias is what I would call reader bias. The thrill of the chase and these other memoirs are self-published. And so one of the big things...
Oh, okay. This is so interesting that he put this in next. That he's pointing out, okay, I'm just going to let him talk.
What we're called to do in this is find the aberrations. Figure out what sticks out and how it could be a hint. But the book is a different animal than what we're used to. A lot of the givens of a commercial book just aren't there for a self-published book. So in a commercial book, there are teams of editors and copy editors, proofreaders, that make sure, first of all, there are no mistakes in the book, but also the narrative doesn't stray. The book doesn't get boring. It sticks to its points and to what is interesting and relevant to the reader. Whereas Forrest apparently wrote this sort of stream of consciousness, indulging in any whim that came to him along the way. And of course, these things are going to look like aberrations to us because 99% of what we read in a book looks very different.
And that is, and he's pointing to, I think what he's talking about here is the, there's no index, there's no chapter numbers, there's not a table of content, there's not the page numbers are weird and wonky. It starts on page 4 And the page 1 is the first, is a blank page. And oh my God, you know what that just made me think of? Okay. Whoa. This whole thing of Jack going into this self-published book thing and pointing to it, what that brings to my mind is that then Forrest could do whatever he wanted, including, okay, there's an Eric Sloan book called Gremlins, and in that Gremlin book, there's a page in it that if it has invisible ink, and if you rub that page with lemon juice, the image shows up, right? That's an Eric Sloan book, and that is real. That is a real thing, and I know. So, okay. And now, it would be next to, would that even be possible to, I think it would be a big damn deal to have a publisher now put, say, I want a book with invisible ink, I don't know. I'm not saying that there's invisible ink in Forrest's book, but I am saying he got to call all the shots, including how he numbered his pages, how he did everything. And also, if he wanted a magic page, he could damn well pay for it himself and do it. And now, this is where I'm going to tie it back to the gold bug and him talking about the pirate book, the pirate treasure book. That's the only book that Forrest read, right? And so that gold bug book, how that was found is the piece of paper got close to the firelight. And when it got close to the firelight, it heated the page, and Captain Kidd's a goat showed up on the page. And that's Captain Kidd, a goat, that was his emblem, or that was his stamp, or that was his, that's how that book, the gold bug book, the hidden pirate treasure book, was made. So Forrest, being a self-published book, he very well could have made the page, this page, empty page, be a magic page, right? And another thing that lends to that, okay, there's Captain Kidd mentioned right after the poem. Then there is at the very last page of the book, his father sitting lighting candles at both ends. When you light a candle, and both ends of the book, of Forrest's book, are blank pages. And if you light a candle, I damn near lit my book on fire trying to figure out if there's something that shows through. But what shows through, if this is page, isn't this page 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 5. This is page 1. So I don't know. I haven't really pulled all this off yet, but because it's just a fresh idea in my mind. But what's on that front page is Forrest's ID card. And Captain Kidd's ID was what's showing through the paper. So are we supposed to look at that ID card, the flashlight? And I don't know. I haven't played that far. These are just fresh ideas. And I couldn't wait to talk about it because these things, just listening to this over and over, and it's like, what is he trying to tell us? What is Jack trying to tell us? He is the one who solved this mystery. This is the only talking he is doing. This, I think, is like his way of telling us how. Okay, I'm going to continue.
And if you use that kind of thinking, you're going to find a lot of rabbit holes.
And what kind of thinking is he talking about? A default to preconceived notions. Preconceived notions, that is a phrase that came directly out of Sean Dotson, the flip side's mouth. And he knew a lot about this gold bug thing too. He had a video about this gold bug thing. Sean bolted on us. I don't even know if those videos still exist. Please, what is happening? Kid Eagle Goat. Yes. And then, yes. Okay. And so there's the Kid Eagle Goat. I just saw what you said, Huli. Because we have other kid references, goat references in this book. You know? Okay. Oh, okay. Holy shit, I am scattered. I'm just gonna let this play.
The One Horse Land and Cattle Company is what's referred to as a vanity publisher, and that's a pretty derogatory term, but the point is these books are not meant to make money. The point is to get Forrest's work out there, for him to see the book on the shelf and to feel the accomplishment of writing a book without dealing with any of the other issues that come with commercial publishing.
Yep.
And this can be hard to wrap your mind around now that The Chase has gone viral, but there was no expectation that this book would find a large audience. Some people say that the treasure must be in New Mexico because Forrest only sold the books at the Collected Works bookstore in Santa Fe. So he only originally thought of New Mexicans searching for this. But I think that presupposes that he would be able to get a wider distribution for this book. Forrest had published several books to his own admission that barely anyone read, that were not financial successes and were not widely sold. And commercial publishers have relationships with bookstores, large and small, and they're able to get their books into those stores. A publisher like the One Horse Land and Cattle Company doesn't have any of those resources. Occam's razor would say that one of the main reasons he would bring his book to the Collected Works bookstore was such a sweetheart deal to give them all the profits is, number one, because Forrest likes them and has an existing relationship, and that's how he does things. And number two, that would be his easiest form of distribution.
But yet he talks about Borders bookstore in The Thrill of the Chase. So that so obviously seems like Borders is more of he wrote that for a hint and not as a, like, I don't know.
Just bringing these books he made to someone across town. If he had originally brought this memoir to commercial publishers, he probably would not have been very successful. Most memoirs that are published are by either very famous people or very famous writers. And he's accomplished a lot in his life and is probably somewhat of a local celebrity, but he wasn't at that level where he would attract a large publisher. He probably could have with his subsequent books, but he seemed to be happy with the way he did things. So his quotes on what I'm calling reader bias. On his process on making the Sharp book, I had a couple people help me because I didn't know what I was doing, and they would edit my work, and I didn't like the way they edited it. I went to see some people who were supposed to know what they were doing, and they did, but they wrote different from me. I decided I didn't want a publisher. I'd just do it myself. And so I did that, and I lost a bunch of money. Too far to walk. When a writer sends a manuscript to a publisher, 2 years later, they're thinking about going to a printer. We did this in 2 days. On Thrill of the Chase. I had written 8 books before. Nobody wanted any of my books. My parents were dead. Who's going to buy my books? Last quote really illustrates why it's so difficult to point to something in The Thrill of the Chase and say, that's not normal. That's an aberration. It's fun to make up words and play with different spellings. When someone calls me out after noticing the corruption of a word I use, I just smile, especially when I say something that in my mind is correct, but in an academic sense, it's a horrible malfunction. This is the kind of guy we're working with here. There's no easy solution to finding an aberration, and determining what the hints are may be the most difficult part of this hunt. So trying to combat reader bias, I don't really know. I would say read as much of his work as possible, especially his other memoirs, both in book and scrapbook form, just to try and to appreciate him as a writer, understand his lexicon, and figure out what is a departure from his normal writing.
Okay, does this sound like a guy who never read $17 a square inch? Does this sound like a guy who hasn't read all of Forrest's books? When he's telling us, and it's so true about if you read the Joseph Henry Sharp book, which it seems like Jack's telling us he did, that is such a different writer than who wrote The Thrill of the Chase. I mean, like he dumbed down his writing, he dumbed down his whole and made things awkward, like on purpose, because it is a treasure hunting book. It's not. That Joseph Henry Sharp book is written beautifully. Okay, I'm going to continue.
What might be an aberration to him, he may have some element of bias himself in that when he's writing and he makes a departure from his normal writing to sprinkle in a hint, it may look like just another whim to us, even though it feels very wrong to him. I have to think he appreciates that and has made sure that he shows his intent in some way when he is making that departure, but it's unclear at this point if he actually does. Another thing, look at previous versions of the stories in The Thrill of the Chase that were published elsewhere. And in doing that, in putting those texts side by side, you can see some of his writing process in action. It's sort of, how people study Shakespeare's folios. See how he edits himself, how he has changed, how he's presenting himself in this book. And maybe between the lines, you can find some evidence of that intent. A lot of the stories that were originally published in the West Yellowstone News that are now available on the Bozeman Daily Chronicle website have quite a few edits. I mean, it's often, a word or two each paragraph that add up over the course of this story. It's kind of striking that My War for Me, which is probably about a third of the book, is almost entirely intact copy and paste job from its original form. There's only some very light editing at the very beginning. For me, that pretty much rules out My War for Me as having a hint.
Okay. Jack just ruled out My War for Me. He is the finder. He's telling us. I think this video is Jack's way of telling us how he did it. And he has just ruled out My War for Me. And his reasoning is because it was published previously and Forrest didn't change anything. So, but that first bit, the first page of My War for Me and the page after it, I'm trying to think how many pages in. Is it 3? Where all of a sudden he starts with a capital letter again, and after the chapter has started. That's from there on is the same story that was published years previous. Okay, back.
Unless he has a time machine, I can't see how he would have planted a hint in the text that he is left completely unchanged from years before. So those are probably the two biggest examples of selective perception on bias that I've seen in the chase, but I'm sure there are a lot of different angles you could take with this. If there are other examples of selective perception bias that you see, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And now I'm going to coin a term that is not used in other literature, but it's pretty striking to me in this hunt. It's what I'm calling proximity bias. So people who live within the...
Proximity bias is boring part to me because it's just, Captain Obvious. People live near, they're going to search the area that's closest to them. But he does have a point here where he says, but there are people, obviously, that live near where the treasure was found, but and still didn't find it either, so he's saying that actually being far away from the search location is advantage because you're not using your own knowledge of the area in which you live to apply what to the poem. So I'm going to skip over approximation bias. Let's see. But that is a thing. That is a thing. Did he just say he coined this term? It is just for this treasure hunt specifically.
Rare land features that people from out of town wouldn't know.
Yeah, the rare land feature. He talks about things like, the land features that only people, local people would know about, all that stuff. None of that stuff has seemed to help.
The wrong reasons, such as convenience, is a saw that's built on a shaky foundation. You're not letting Forrest lead you to the spot. You're starting with the general location and hoping it fits.
And that's what the whole Slough Creek solve or the GPS solve or the well, I guess the GPS solve, those guys did come up with digging those numbers out of the poem, which is also anyway. But that's sort of it's such a good point. Anyway.
Now this is a map from
We'll get another beer.
Google Trends showing the relative frequency at which people search forest fen in the different states in the United States.
Look at this.
You can see that people in Montana and Wyoming seem to be much more interested in this treasure hunt than
he's saying people people that live in Montana and Wyoming are search forest, search Google, put forest fen in Google search terms is what this is.
The other states, and all of the search states are in the top 4. And this is all relative, so 65% for New Mexico. That means that as a proportion of total Google searches, proportion for New Mexicans is about 2/3 of Montanans. And at the bottom of this list, you get states.
I just saw the chat and I just saw Gabriel. I wonder if chat, I know I asked him for permission. He never wrote back. And so I just boldly did it. This might be gone tomorrow. I might be in trouble. I don't know. We just went with it. Lucky today sucked. Called in movers. Absolutely, K-Pro. Oh my God. Okay. Hi, Lucky Digger. Thank you. This is great. He's go for it, Susie. I know. What's the worst that could happen? That I have to take Google takes this, or not Google, YouTube takes this video down and says, naughty, Susie, don't ever do it again. And I'll say, okay, I won't. I just love it. I tried asking for permission, Copper Dan, and he didn't. Well, it was just like a few hours ago. Like he didn't get right on my email. So I just kind of like, whoops. Okay, your show links beautifully to the blurb on memoirs shared by Smell the Sunshine and James. Did Smell Sunshine just put a new video out? Okay, anyway, I'm going.
It's like New York and Delaware, which have only 5% of the interest as Montana or Wyoming. And I use this just to illustrate that so much of the heat being put onto figuring this thing out is in the search states themselves by the people, some of whom are obviously very close to the actual location of the treasure. And after 9 years, it's not helping at all.
See?
So I don't know if Forrest himself has considered the idea of a proximity bias. I just pulled this quote that seems to sort of illustrate it. I mean, there's people driving down the street looking for a blaze because that's one of the clues. But you can't start in the middle of the poem and find the treasure, I don't think. So I think it's a similar principle. People are sort of yada, yada, yada-ing the beginning. Letting the poem take them.
That means everybody's starting at where warm waters halt. You can't be yada, yada, yada in the beginning. You know? As I have, follow me.
To their backyard, letting their ulterior motives in keeping costs down, keeping time commitments down, keeping things fun, visiting places that they would want to go to. All of those things, while totally understandable, are having an impact, whether those people realize it or not, on their thinking. And finally, how to combat this proximity bias that I'm accusing everyone of. I would say don't read Fenn with the purpose of matching his words to locations that are nearby you. Force yourself to consider possibilities in other regions, even if it hurts, when there is evidence that it may be important to him. Spend your time trying to prove or disprove the spots, not the region, not any arbitrary political lines drew in the early 1800s, unless those political lines lead you outside the search area. And allow yourself the mental permission to travel to another area if that is where he leads you.
See? Leads you. As I have, follow me. He's leading us. And Jack is confirming that to us. And what did he say? Oh, don't let, he's basically saying don't let borderlines and all these different, don't let that complicate your search area or pick your search area. Just like hearsay from 3 people that it's at Slough Creek. Don't do it. You can't. He says, spend your time trying to prove or disprove the spot, not the region. So he's saying that the region is the obvious thing. You gotta follow Fenn to the region, and then
even if it costs you more money, more time, doesn't seem as fun to you, things like that. If you want to solve this,
even if it takes more and doesn't seem as fun to you, okay. So, God, does that just rule out Yellowstone? Because Yellowstone feels like fun. It feels like I want to go to Yellowstone. I want to go look at Yellowstone. And what if it's not fun? Or okay, where's a place that wouldn't be as fun? He's like making it sound like it doesn't matter. Allow yourself mental permission to travel to another area if that's where Fenn leads you. That's what I'm going to go with.
So thank you guys for watching. I've got one more concept to give you that's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And that's the cognitive bias that leads people to mistakenly assess their cognitive ability as greater than it actually is.
There. What is this map? Good question. I don't think we can tell. Somebody get on that. Go to Jack's original video. I should figure out how to link this video in the chat. Let's see. There.
More time, doesn't seem as fun to you, things like that.
He didn't want it to be there, and it didn't seem as fun to him as Yellowstone. So where is that? Where? Okay, here I'm gonna go here. Here I'm gonna go here. Here I'm gonna go here. There's the link to Jack's video. Now I'm gonna go, back to, where is it? Here, okay.
If you want to solve this. So thank you guys for watching. I've got one more concept to give you that's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And that's the cognitive bias that leads people to mistakenly assess their cognitive ability as greater than it actually is. And I think that really brings all of the things that.
You know what, though? Look at this. Look at this. I mean, that brain, this is how that's exactly how I feel. That little image, it's like, and he figured it out. Oh, anyway.
I've talked about together. In order to solve this, we're going to have to be honest with ourselves about the limits of the human brains we have in order to use our minds to their greatest ability. So I hope this little lecture has given you guys some insights. I'd love to hear your comments on bias and some of the other ideas you guys have about it. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, this is Jack.
Oops.
This is a new YouTube channel about.
I didn't mean to do that. Okay, I'm gonna stop share. Back. Okay. Still not right. I gotta get my. Okay, there we go. So I can see the chat again. Okay. Okay. So after I listened to it, like, I don't know, the 10th time, what really hit my oh my God button was that when he started talking about how he approached this. And by that, I mean, he talked about he looked at Forrest, he looked at his writing, he looked at things he said. And Forrest had never said he had ever worked on any other treasure hunt. He said the pirate quote. He said he read a book or books or whatever about pirate treasure being buried. And Jack included that. And he said, it's not a normal treasure hunting book. It's a pirate book. Okay. A treasure hunting pirate book is The Gold Bug by Edgar Allan Poe, a poet. We're working with a poem. The Gold Bug is about Captain Kidd. Captain Kidd is immediately following our poem is our Captain Kidd reference. Boom. And then he goes on to tell us about how Forrest published the book by himself using the One Horse Land and Cattle Company. So meaning he could mess with that book however he wanted, including putting perhaps a page in that you could hold a candle to and something showed up. Is that candle a metaphor for a flashlight where he said bring a flashlight? Is it something? Ooh, I haven't worked on that enough because it just kind of all fell in on me when he started talking about this is not your normal puzzle book. You can't apply your normal ciphers. You can't apply normal approach. And the Gold Bug makes so much sense. You know what else makes sense about the Gold Bug is that the stick that's in the chest, in the picture of the chest, it sure looked like it had fishing line. It looked like there was fishing line. You guys know what I mean when I say that, that there were fishing line throughout that was laying in there and that chest. Okay, so in the gold bug, he dropped something through the eye of a skeleton that was in the tree. There was a skeleton in the tree, and he took something and dropped it down through the eye, and that's where the treasure was buried. Something like that. What if there was something you dropped? What if that stick was the blaze? What if that stick was hanging down on fish? So it just looked like no one would ever notice. In a woods, a stick tied with fishing line pointing down. That's kind of the way the gold bug was found. But and what would Forrest, okay, so also there was what started the gold bug treasure map was they held up that piece of paper and they saw through the paper a goat, the head of a goat, and it meant Captain Kidd. Okay, so then we have Billy the Kid is the goat's name, or is a goat, is in this book. I don't know what page, but he talks about that. It's with him in June, standing there playing Billy the Kid. You know what picture I'm talking of. Anyway, I can't find it. But the goat was Billy the Kid's, or not Billy the Kid, Captain Kidd's symbol, and everybody was a goat head. What is Forrest Fenn's symbol? If you were to look for Forrest Fenn's symbol, what would it be? It would be the double F, or would it be double omega? So if you're using that kind of thought, and you're shining the light at both ends, have you ever held this book up to the light and see that if you looked through here, if I had it up to the light, it says, The Thrill of the Chase, a memoir, 2010, fits perfectly right between this arch and this text. It fits perfectly, and you can see that shining through. And the double omega lands on the words in Vietnam. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but I think listening to what Jack has to say, in listening to this, I mean, do this on your own. You guys go back and I'm reading the chat. I'm sorry. There we went. Susie, Forrest Fenn in June in the big picture. That is a big picture, isn't it? Good thinking, Lucky Digger. He dropped the bug through the eye of the skeleton. I mean, that was their blaze. It was, you had to sit in the devil's seat, and from the devil's seat you could see a skull in the tree, and then you had to drop the bug through the eye of the skeleton, and it landed on where the treasure was buried. And I think that's why Forrest slipped up and he would say, I buried my treasure instead of I hid my treasure. He would catch himself when he did, but there were times in early, just because it's such a natural buried treasure is pirates bury treasure. It's not pirates hid treasure, they bury treasure. I don't think Forrest was buried. It was hidden and it was covered with stuff. I think it was under a tree. But you got to rule out, what do you say? The spots, not the region. I don't know. Hi, Adam Fadi. Good to see you. How's it going? Did circle dot, that's a gold symbol. A frog. A frog is a Forrest Fenn symbol too, So that's another. Is there some kind of a marking on is there a frog on a rock? I don't know. Does anyone want to come in with me? I'm struggling. I think I need to take I need to use the facilities after I drink all this watered down beer. Potty break. I'll be right back, you guys. I'm gonna put this. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, what did I miss? Please thumbs up if you dig Susie doing the work. Feel like I have no choice. Jack isn't telling us nothing, and I'm so excited. Okay, Pro, I can't wait to get that book. You guys, Mike ordered it up for me. I'm a super slow reader, and I know I can't be sharing it all with you guys because that's not, talk about copyright strike. Oh, I will not ruin it for you guys. I will not, I promise. But I will give my fair book report. I'll give you my overview. And that's exciting. Oh yeah, I was going to put in the chat if somebody wanted to come on with me. There we go. Oh no. Oh no, it's okay. I pushed. Okay. Oh, whoops. Oh, I tricked myself. It's my own fault. I have two different browsers going, and anyway. Susie, we will go live one day and I will give a book report too. I plan on reading all night. I know. I'm planning on reading it till I can't. And I struggle. Oh yeah, you are you have dyslexia too, K-Pro, don't you? It's hard. It's slow going. I think a bunch of you are dissatisfied with this book. Why do you say that, Sled Neck? What do you know of this book? Are you in this book? Who are the searchers involved? I'm chopping and sauteing like 10 pounds of mushrooms. Ooh, what are you making, Huli? Some incredible minds search for 10 years. Forrest gets ill. His family wants nothing to do with it. The treasure is found, and shortly after, Forrest passes. I tend not to believe in coincidences. Yeah, it's too perfect. Forrest kind of always, and Forrest always said he wanted to, he said it in the book that he hoped to make things happen like they're supposed to, or just like Eric Sloan. Eric Sloan made it happen like it was supposed to. He wrote his 80 book and couldn't believe he made it to 80, and then was right after that book launch, days after his birthday, he passed away. My books have to write themselves or I struggle. This one did. So this book wrote itself because most of these stories were already published and he just changed them a little bit. But I think I'm probably going to listen to that Jack's cognitive bias video again, or no. Okay, so Jack also said that he found slip-ups, or he found or there was a slip-up, something about that. And that's why he like he used his old interviews, and that okay, so if he had a slip-up, there's two videos on Jack Stoop's YouTube account. One is an interview with Forrest. The other is the cognitive bias video. The interview with Forrest, I think, has to be the video where there was a slip up that Jack used. Seems kind of obvious. And then the cognitive bias video, I believe, is Jack's way of telling us how, the mechanics, the how he did it part. And there is a point in that the Forrest interview video that he has where he talks about pirates again and said something about I think there must have been a pirate somewhere in my family, or he mentions pirate. And so the whole pirate and Jack's focus on pirates and a pirate book. Um, and then him bringing the Captain Kidd in. It's the pirate book that Jack is referring to has to be the Gold Bug. Does anyone else think of any that it could be anything else? Oh, come in, Catamus. Oh, the cat just walked up to my door and meowed really loud. He can come in if he wants. He knows it. He just wants me to open the door for him. Um, I could live on mushrooms. I'm a fun guy. uh, um, yeah, I like mushrooms too, quite a bit. What about Treasure Island? Well, the problem with Treasure Island is that about Captain Kidd? We have to stick with what Forrest talks about. He talks about Gardner Island and Captain Kidd. Is Treasure Island about what is that about? What pirate is that about? And is it Captain Kidd? I'll pass on the olives. I like olives quite a bit. I don't have it. I have olives, but I didn't put them in my beer tonight. How strange. I better look what I look like. Oh my God. I'm watching myself play. Oh, I shouldn't be watching myself on YouTube at the same time because it's horrible. Oh, it's such a awful thing to watch yourself. Oh, TTOC is a pirated book. The illustrations are pirated. True that. That's really, he's pirated things that whole, he's taken quotes and misquoted them just enough to stick them in his book, including a quote right out of Catcher in the Rye, which is the biggest damn deal ever. You're never supposed to, you know, that's like one of the most protected copyrighted books ever is Catcher in the Rye, and Forrest is bleh. Mm-hmm. Whatever. So, and then there's me with the Too Far to Walk book. Forrest copyrighted book. I am a pirate. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum, man. I got to meet Sue at the wedding. She is even lovelier in person. Whatever. Wallace Berry played Long John Silver. Oh, it was Long John Silver. Hi, Richard Rutherford. Um, Fendi must be done. Is Fendi done? Oh, I like that 3D bronze and his that pirated book thing. It is, that whole book is pirated. The pictures are pirated. Mm-hmm. Stout-hearted Men, all of them. They're all of those, you know, except for that one with Forrest and his on the tombstone and the helicopter in the background. Um, looking good, Susie. Cute, Adam. Silver Fox. It is all about that. What does Silver Fox say? 3D bronze, lots of nods to forgery in Forrest stories. Mary Green. Capro, what does Anonymous have to say? What? Okay, already a handful of people for solves for GTC. Oh, that's great. You guys are gonna do that show and let people on and talk about that solves. Okay, bro. I want us to go drinking with Susie. We would have a riot. I'm in. Where? Vegas? Oh man. Forrest Meyer, Almir Dahore, the artist who copied famous artists. Silver Fox, he more than admired him. He purchased all those to sell at his gallery as forgeries. He's and one little thing, I listened to a part of somebody else's video. I'm just not even going to give them the, and what they were like going, somebody at Forrest's funeral, which I didn't believe that he had a funeral. One of his friends said, yeah, he got famous for stealing another guy's book or something like that. Some really horrible thing. Like, first of all, how would you know? And second of all, I don't think there was even a funeral service or any sort of service and like how, but anyway, if that's the case, if somebody said, well, he just knocked off somebody else's book. Okay, so what book is this knocking off? The Gold Bug. A Yellowstone. Susie, I hear Indy and Adam are planning a reunion in Vegas. Eggs, yep. Right. 3D bronze. I used to think the BML land quote about the bronze jars was a possible subtle hint of what kind of land the chest could be hidden on. Why tell specifically type of land and why BML land? I think absolutely that too, 3D bronze. I think that is our, I think that's our clue as well. Because he mentions that right after the poem is the Bell chapter, and that's where he says it in that chapter. And then he says the Rosetta Stone. So it makes me think that the Rosetta Stone is related to his bells. And then there's that bell with the word dollar misspelled. And I've always, thought that was something. But that's not what Jack is telling us. Jack is telling us it's not like some normal puzzle. This is not like a treasure hunting book that's ever been written before, as far as the way puzzle bias. You don't look for it the same way. Forrest didn't know how to do those puzzles like that. And so he invented his own way, is what Jack is telling us. Like, that's what I think his confirmation bias videos were telling us. All right, that's what he said. He's a finder. Should listen to him. He's the closest thing we have to Forrest on Earth, as far as the how-tos. Forrest is never going to tell us how, ever, how he. That's now we just have to listen to Jack or do it ourselves. That's why we're here. Confirmed, but I believe 100%. Forest Department of Interior Land. It has lost some in all of the news lately, but 100%. Not confirmed, or is it unconfirmed? Are you saying that you have it as a confirmation from Forrest that it was on land that was owned by the Department of Interior? And I believe that kind of land is scattered all over, as like, can't BML land also be Department of Interior land? Can't they be? I mean, is it? I don't understand how that all works. That's really interesting. Should have said not confirmed. Autocorrect sucks. Yeah. Oh, that's what I thought it said. 100% confirmed. A shirt. That's great. Confirmed by Shiloh. Michael O'Connell said it. Michael O'Connell is not Jack or Forrest. Silver. I have a shirt that says that. Hashtag colors ours is cool. Michael Connell's source is solid. Someone he knew before the chase. That still is not solid. Is that Jack? Unless that someone is Jack. That ain't a solid. Not to me. Sledneck. K-Pro, you should know that nobody is more full of crap than a cop. I wouldn't fall. I would not. I would not. I don't believe anybody. Okay, United States Department of Interior is responsible for the management and conservation of most federal lands and natural resources. Thank you, Lucky Digger. So what's the difference? I mean, BML land could be most of the federal lands and natural resources. They're responsible for it. So guess he's right. I mean, I think that's just a huge, broad umbrella to put under. Go on with Susie, please. Oh, Silver Fox. Right after you do. You guys are chicken. Here, I'm putting it. Any takers? I'm pouring another beer. My fake beers. But this is good. I don't need a lot of oops. Hang on. I have to wipe my nose and I don't want to do it on camera. I'm still here, everybody. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Better. Susie, he told me a female, someone who has been on our channel, someone very close to Forrest. We all know her well. And he knew her before the chase. I find her very trustworthy. But what's her relation to Forrest? I mean, why would Forrest tell her something like that? I mean, why? I don't get it. Cheers, JK Pioneer. I wish I could join tonight. You got to go to work? Dark? GTC? Knock, knock, please. Oh, did Hooli, do you want in? Yeah. Sorry. Oh, yay. Hooli is connecting to audio.
Susie Fennhaven. Happy Friday.
Hi, Hooli.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing? How are your mushrooms? What are you making?
So just a warm mushroom salad for tomorrow.
Ooh, that sounds lovely.
Really simple. We're doing Mother's Day tomorrow instead of Sunday with my family. So,
oh.
Yeah.
Right.
What are you drinking, sister?
Drinking beer.
Right on.
Well, it's kind of beer.
Near beer?
Pretty much. It's Budweiser Select 55. It only has 55 calories, so I can drink a whole bunch of them. And it barely has any alcohol in it. So I can pretend like I'm, hammering them down, and it barely, you can drink a 6-pack and it's like drinking 2 real beers.
Right, right. So I missed the beginning of this and I'm so upset. This was an excellent, excellent analysis. I love it. I've listened to
Well,
that video probably 3 or 4 times, and I do believe there's stuff in there that we need to take note of.
yes, I think he's telling us I think he's trying to tell us in that video, um, like, okay, when he put that video out, he had already figured out the poem and he just kept going back to the same location or area. That much we know. So it's just getting into the mind of how he approached it. And I think that's, yeah. As long as I, don't get a copyright strike from him, which could happen because he knows I said, hi, this is Susie Fennhaven, and can I do it? I asked for permission. He never wrote me back. So I didn't give him very much time at all, like a couple hours or whatever. But he could take this video down for copyright strike.
Yeah, he could, but I mean, I think you do it respectfully always, and you're honoring the gist of what he tried to put out there, and also, I think that's what he wanted us to do, was to really look at it and maybe self-reflect and see what kind of confirmation we have and move away from that method.
8. What'd you steal from Nobu? The mushroom recipe? What is
Yeah.
is it tarragon? What is the
So I'm sure they had much more special stuff in there, but I just stole like the actual, like what type of mushrooms were in it. And it's just like soy, maybe a little bit of sherry, some Worcestershire sauce. So very simple.
Oh,
Very, very simple.
it's really umami, deep flavors you're talking about there. Yummy. Topic for Wednesday is still being determined. Says, okay. And this is going on at 12:30 at night. Darks, which would be like 1:30, I think, my time, or 2:30. I don't know. GTC's channel, I'm talking about, Huli, I'm sorry.
Oh, I think it might be during the day, actually.
Oh, is it? I thought
so.
It was the middle of the damn night.
Which wouldn't be so bad for most of us are nocturnal, I think.
I know, or it would be, whatever. I thought that's what that was in the middle of the night. That way you could watch it later, like it was just whatever. I am clueless. Noonish. Okay. Well, that's great. That seems like it would make more sense. That way I can listen to you guys while I'm out there putzing around the yard, right? I'm reading the chat here and it says, who's David Nah? More than a grain, like a whole salt shaker. And isn't that what is he talking about, the what those videos are trying to tell us? And don't you think that the video that he put up of Forrest talking, I loved that video so much, of hearing Forrest talk again, or or listening to him is a comfort to me. So that video has to be, don't you think, the one where Jack found clues from? I mean, let's add this up together. Everybody, let's add all our information. And Jack had said that he had found information that was helpful from slip up or something that Forrest had said in early interviews. And then he puts that interview up on his channel. It just seems like that's the interview he happens to be talking about, right? Or is that just not?
Do you mean the one that for New Mexico? The advertisement for
Yeah,
New Mexico? So I think,
yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but I think he said that there was nothing in that one, or he didn't perceive there to be anything in that one. And
Oh, did he
I was like,
specifically say that?
yeah, I think he did. Maybe the chat room can confirm. I apologize. I'm rusty on some. It's been a while since I've read some of his writings. But
Okay.
maybe there's another advertisement or another interview that we know that was cut short that there's a lot more of. I don't know. That maybe we can inquire and find. I mean, if he
Well,
did it for one, who's to say he hasn't done it for more?
sneeze. I'm gonna shut my
God bless.
video. It got stuck, so I just blew my nose. Dang, I hate that. Oh no. I hope I still get to sneeze. um
That link that I shared earlier, just FYI, it was from Smell the Sunshine to talking about James Frey. It actually had James Frey talking about how he was an outsider to the writing community. I don't know if you remember that.
yes.
And
Yes.
if listening to it again, I listened to it just not long ago, and it was excellent because it went through all the ways that he used words and he used language and he used things that weren't true in his so-called memoir, and he published it as a memoir. Well, he published it and it didn't have the category, I guess, proper categorization, and he took hell for it.
Yeah, like he didn't he like his publisher said it was a memoir when he said it, he never intended it to be a memoir, something like that. But then
Yeah,
he said
yeah,
how freeing it was that he no longer, like that label or whatever, it set him free to write whatever he wanted and not have a label on it.
I
But
love
that
that.
is really interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting to go back and um I
I
will
think
go back
that'll.
and listen to that again because yeah, Smell the Sunshine is so good and almost too good, What is he trying to say? I mean,
Right.
how he showed up and how Forrest is like, oh, who is this guy? I don't know about that. It makes me wonder. So, yeah, I'm all about, I would go back and listen to that. Um, that person flat out blurts out a few questions, and the one he flat out asked if the treasure is in New Mexico. Mm. Uh, what sucks, Mary? When that woman wanted to sue for emails, I deleted mine. So stupid. I should have hid them. Who wanted to sue for emails? Whose emails? Oh wait, what's this Jennifer London and Fenn's slip-ups were in outtakes from the Jennifer London interview, according to Cynthia Meacham, when he said that he knew people were within 200 feet because somebody sent him pictures. Is that what the slip-up you think it is, Tony? Adam, they make me smile though. Oh, Brian Gates. Hi, Brian Gates. Nice to see you. Go back to November 2020 and read about Dale's story, SS Islander. It was about 2 weeks before Jack came forward. Interesting how the end of the story sounds just like the end of the chase. I did go ahead and download all the scrapbooks from Dale's site, or what's left of Dale's site. And what else? I wish I had a friend like Forrest in my life to give me similar advice way back when, but such is life. You'll have to tell me one day Forrest's advice on marriage. I don't know that one. But I'm trying to imagine what Forrest had to say. I mean, he would say marry the right person. I think Peggy let him. Susie, I have never seen all of the outtakes. Yeah, where are the rest of those outtakes? There was only that one by Lucky Love that was produced, or that was on YouTube. And then now Lucky Love is gone. Who is Lucky Love, by the way? Who do you think Lucky Love was?
Oh, I would have to say Terry Fenn.
Oh,
That would be my guess. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's just
right.
100% speculation.
Right, a speculation, but that is a good speculation. Yeah, I do think it was somebody close to Forrest.
Who do you think, if you had to put a name to it, who do you think it was?
Yeah, his who do you say? Not his niece, isn't that or his yeah, a family member. Didn't he say that who is really good at computers? One of his relatives.
Yeah, I think that was Terry.
They set up the blog. Yeah, that person. If that's the same one, then I would go, okay. Yeah,
she
because
also has a channel though. So who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, it was inside, it felt like it was specific and collected purposefully, those, things. And it is a bummer that they're gone now. It really is.
It was a great resource, and you could find.
I listened to those over and over and over and over.
So I'll give a little plug. You Shop, We Ship has some excellent videos that he's posted over time. Some unpopular ones as well, I think.
Right? I think I saw a new one today, or that he had just, or they had just posted.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch them. I haven't watched them yet.
He did like 22 short clips today, I think.
Really? And are they all going down? Are they clips of Forrest talking, or what kind of clips are they?
Yeah.
Are they?
And I believe maybe he had them posted to his page before, and then maybe hid them, and then maybe reposted. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, right. Right. I wondered that if somebody does, like, if I like set some of the things that I have on private, if I set them to public, would they post like I just posted them, or would they post like would I have to download them and then re-upload them to get them? I don't know. I still don't understand how YouTube works. I don't care enough about it. I don't care enough about it, where I just, whatever works, and until it doesn't, then fine. As long as it works. The Lorraine Mills interview are very early on, and some great candid comments for us. I totally agree, Silver Fox. Those were my favorite. That's what I did. I went back to the very first, the oldest information I could find in those oldest interviews I could find, and I re-listened to those beginning ones over and over and over. I don't even think I got into the later ones very much at all, because I was so busy going back to the beginning of the book and the beginning of all of the interviews, trying to catch where to start. Where do you start? And it was still, I was still just like on a fact-finding mission. I wasn't um, you know, the whole thing was a fact-finding mission. It was an approach that I took towards the chase more so than um, areas on a map and trying to, you know, I don't know, whatever. You guys know, you all saw. If you're here now, you probably saw me fumbling around for years now, right? Gabriel says, and the controversy was on Thor when she disappeared for good. And it's intriguing itself. Who? Lucky Love was a user on Thor. Oh, wow. I never saw Susie's videos either. Oh, really, Penny? Man, I had a lot, almost 500 of them. Hundreds. I had hundreds of short videos. Most of them were really little, short videos, not very long. But it was mostly always working in the book.
Susie, that
Talking
was a
about
national treasure. Like, I was so bummed when I found out you deleted your videos. That was such great stuff. No, seriously, I'm a very literal thinker, and you just like your imagination is ridiculously cool. I don't even know what
Oh,
title to give it other than cool.
okay. Thank you, Huli. It got me nowhere. It gets me nowhere, but in trouble. Mostly.
You didn't get arrested for digging or anything.
Never.
I would
No.
I would not even sweat it.
No, I never did any crazy thing like that. Many other crazies. Some of us have been looking at the illustrations again. You should do it again, right? Recreate some of my old videos of the ones I do have. I've got myself working on the poem like in from 2018. I don't know why I kept those, but I did. I do have a few random videos, but I don't know if you guys would. Yeah, just do them again.
Well, the great thing about them was they were book based and poem based. They weren't like you weren't doing extracurricular stuff most of the time. They were resources that I'm sure respected.
It was always me finding out something or learning about, let's learn about map symbols today. Or let's learn about archaeology terms. Let's learn about whatever I felt like, let's learn about Eric Sloan. Let's read Forrest Joseph Henry Sharp book. Let's read The Catcher in the Rye and figure out how The Catcher in the Rye, how is he going to add on to it? And yeah, I know. I don't think it's possible to go down. Some of us have been looking at the illustrations. Oh no, I just read that already. Again, Lucky Digger. I just saw my name and read it. Yeah. Adam Fuddy says, why did you delete them? Because I freaked out, panicked, and deleted everything. I had like over how many ever chapters there are in Too Far to Walk. I read every chapter in Too Far to Walk, Adam. I read the whole book chapter by chapter and talked about it as I went. And I did half the book and then asked Forrest if it was okay. And he said, yeah. This is a true story. Uh-huh. I showed his whole book. I was showing the shiny pictures and the map and the book. But you know what that just made me think of? My mind just shot back to the gold bug. The gold bug and Jack's planting that idea into my head about shining a light through paper. That Too Far to Walk book, the Too Far to Walk. Oh yeah, it ends up in New Mexico. Never mind. There's words on the back of the map. This is the back of the map. Oops, it has that fancy S. And it also, in the text in the back of the map, says, I declined their invitation to put an X on the map, but I will admit it's there in spirit. So when you look through and see where the X is on the map, it's right under the word in. Go in peace. There's a rabbit hole. Anyway. But is it something to do? Now I'm not gonna let go of that gold bug idea until I can think of another. There's something to Google. Are there other treasure hunting books with Captain Kidd in it? Or is there other books about Captain Kidd? That's a better way to say it. That happens to be written by a poet. I mean, it just seems so perfect. And it's gold bug. And it's gold. Oh. I actually sent an email to Jack earlier today before I asked him if I could do this cognitive bias, what I just did tonight without permission. I sent him a video and just said, I'm going to go ahead and look for closure on my own here. And if you're not going to tell us, basically, I'm going to try to figure it out. It seems our only way out is to try to figure out the poem. Basically said that to Jack today. I've only sent him one email before. I sent him that email, I think we talked a few times on that one email about when I asked him if Eric Sloan had anything to do with the final location or the solve of the poem, whatever. I asked him that, and he's like, well, Eric Sloan is very important to Forrest. So he's, but today, after all that time, months later, I shoot Jack an email today going, does Goldbug have anything to do with this? You said pirates. I'm listening to your video. You said pirate book. Captain Kidd, is it the Goldbug? Please nudge me in the right direction. Thanks. He didn't write back. So then I said, I'm going to just go ahead and show your video on my YouTube channel tonight and talk about it anyway. He's never going to answer that email about whether, something so direct. But I thought, why not just ask him? I don't know. The worst thing that could happen is he could not answer me or answer me and say, sorry, I'm not going to say, or something like that, So I thought, why not? What's the chance? Oh, here's Goodell Khan says, here's one for all. In January 2018, Forrest told me he was very ill. I knew he was ill since 2016 because I had learned it when visiting him. So I'm not sure why Shiloh would say what he said. In January 2018, Forrest told me he was very ill. He did? Penny, pirates versus puzzles generally. Pirates equals X marks the spot. Hmm. Pirates. Hey, I should go through the images again because that made me, oh, all of a sudden, bing. Did you guys just see that light bulb go off over my head? Bing. Oh my God. Okay, where is it? I'm looking for when he's in the backyard with that, um, with the picture of the goat, and underneath that tree image. Oh my God, where is that? It's not totem. It's not In Love with Yellowstone. It's not Totem Caper. I thought it was before Totem Caper, but it's not. On Ride Home. For Lewis and Clark. And how can I not have this whole thing? Yeah, now where my word for me? Because it's only a one page. Is it only a one-page story? So it's too skinny, and I keep missing it. Yeah, here it is. Bessie. Bessie and Me. Because Bessie and Me has that that little the caption for this is, "That's my father in the back, brother Skippy on the left, sister June on the right, and me and Bessie in the middle." Isn't that kind of obvious? Okay, Captain Obvious. Why would he? Why would he? But anyway, what made me think of this picture is I have I've analyzed this little piece, these shadows underneath this tree before, and I can see a pirate underneath that tree. I can see a pirate head and like a. I should figure out how to draw that for you all, so you guys can all see what I'm seeing under that tree. I see a pirate skull thing. Anyway, but it was a lovely night. RFF was ill and had little time left. Oh, he looked up to his father, but he wasn't allowed to look down on June. Reminds me of that photo. Oh, that's something to think about too. He's still in mourning. I think the topic hurt him. Who? Yes. Do you know what he was ill of? I know. He had cancer, right? Or I mean, oh, you mean when he in 2018 when he said, or when did he say he was sick? I don't know. I hate to think about it.
I think the last person was talking about Shiloh, maybe was still in mourning.
Oh,
That's just my guess.
right. Can you imagine? I mean, I know how shitty in mourning I feel, still in mourning. I can't imagine. I never even met the man.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
listened
that
to.
was his
Go ahead.
grandson, I
Yeah,
mean,
I listened to an interview they did together, and it was so sweet, like to hear him, paying honors to his grandfather. Really, really cool. And I didn't have like grandparents that were involved that much, so um, it's cool to get wisdom from other older people, wise people. He definitely
right?
possessed a lot.
I'm gonna pin you so when you talk, at least we can see that you're that cutest dog.
She's being a little bit bad. I went and saw some people this evening and was playing with another puppy and another dog and came home and she went bananas. Well, that's probably not a very good description. She went a little wild. Sorry,
She
Susie.
knew about those other dogs. Oh, little bananas. Ah, I think
Sorry,
that one,
it's organic. I'm so sorry.
it's fine. That one's disappearing. Anyway, that one's fading like it never happened. that one, that banana is turned brown and rotten. It is fading into compost.
So, Susie, you were talking about garden. Garden. We're gonna get in trouble here, sister. You were talking about Gardner Island. What do you make of the poem under, I think it's Stout-Hearted Men, where it's all wavy to
Yeah.
halt and Mara Plan?
Yeah. If you draw an outline, hey, my other book has an outline drawn. It looks like they are. So I drew around that picture and it looks like two guys singing shoulder to shoulder around that poem. Yeah, but why that? Why? Oof, this is the whole thing. This is what it's the why is why we're still here. We don't know. I'm looking for that in my book. That's all marked up is the one that's the best. Oh no, it's right before My War for Me. I'm looking after My War for Me, and it's right here. Oh, I just passed it. Right here. Okay, let's see if I can. There we go. See, look, I drew around it. It doesn't look like two men singing with their backs to each other. Uh-huh.
I missed it, sorry.
My little,
Yeah, it does. That's wild.
I've drawn around all the weird poems, and they all make some kind of picture. You know who got me to look at that was Goldilocks. She's like, hey, doesn't that look like two I think it was that poem, or was it the other the Moving Finger Writes? That poem looks like something when you outline it as well. Now I'm just looking for nothing. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't write in my book at all.
I've got one with writing, one without.
I have a
This is my workbook. Yeah.
ton of stickies though.
Tons of sticky notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like and this one. Let it come in. That one looks like a hat.
Yeah, it sure does. Wow, Susie, I like that.
That's the one I think Goldilocks told me about. Like if you drew around it, it looks like a hat. And then this whole hat thing. Okay. And so once I did that, on that one, I started looking at the rest of them. This one looks like a jar.
Yeah, it does.
Draw it
And,
around.
you know, he had full control over these books. I listened to 2 interviews today where he was talking about the publishers and working on the press and everything, that he would actually go in, glue in pages himself and such. And he said he liked to have the words across from the pictures or the graphics. That he didn't like that other publishing companies would put, and they asked both the interviewers asked why he wanted to self-publish. And he said because they want to put all the color in the middle of the book. And it made me think of what you always say about the color being in the inside cover on his driver's license.
Yeah.
And then he said about being on one opposing pages. the graphics and the words that he wanted. So I think there might be something to that.
This one comes to mind when you, because it's the big picture of, for on page 77, FF 77 is, and then the caption goes here. And I climbed that ladder 274 times, and that 7 in 274, the font used, that 7 is an F.
Yeah, it sure is. A backwards F.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's a legit, and it's on there and he wrote it twice. See, look at the caption.
Yes.
It says, there and then there. So FF, and this is page 77, and that's the FF, and there he is. And then this arrow on that page goes directly to nothing left. It is directly, the arrow points to the left and it says nothing left. Sure seems like a direction. But Jack told us in his video that he ruled out my War for Me having any hints or clues because of that. The story wasn't changed. The story was published years before The Thrill of the Chase was published, and it's the same. But what Jack didn't tell us about the War for Me story is, what wasn't published were these photos and the captions that go with them. That's unique to this book with the story. The story separated from this book is a different animal. All the captions to each of the photos were all added. This wasn't a part of the original story. So, but Jack told us not to. Or was that just a subterfuge?
Well, or did he not catch all the hints that helped him solve the clues? I mean,
right. Maybe
without
there's so many, right, that it wasn't something that he needed,
On page 76, I mean, he writes out the word asterisk.
Yes. That's the only other place that there's an asterisk in the book other than page 15. So is it drawn us to 70? Hi, Minotaur Marino.
Well, on page 100, he talks about a web being woven and all the lines cross. So I felt like
on what page? Which one?
100.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He talks about all the lines crossing and in a spider in a web. And
so
it's the very last paragraph. He says, so in my mind, these lines have converged to tell a story.
Okay, and so 99 is the double X page. 99.
Yeah, you're right.
Is the double X page. Is the everyone knows the famous 99 and the but when he says it here, where, I mean, is this something that we need to shine the light through and or something, you know what I'm saying? Do the gold bug trick. I'm not going to be able to let go of that gold bug thing until I prove it wrong. It just seems like Jack is really hinting at that. Maybe I'll go to sleep tonight listening to the gold bug being read. There are a video of Vincent Price reading the gold bug.
I listened to that. When Sean Dodds had recommended it, I did.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I probably did too. That's probably how I know about it and found it. And it's just stuck in my consciousness, But I want to listen to that again, just because I think Jack is nudging us towards that.
So do you remember when, oh gosh, I just lost my thought. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Minotaur Marino says, at Huli, at Susie, if Jack ruled out my war for me because of the story didn't change much, wouldn't it be logical that he's pointing us to the fire hole that he changed in Bywater? That is an excellent point. Minotaur, that's a really good point. Jack basically said that he compared each one of those stories. So very good point.
You know what though? What wasn't in those stories? The pictures or the graphics or the drawings.
Yeah,
So,
true that.
I don't know. I mean, Jack did say it was a work in English. And I think there's a lot to that. I really do believe it's trickery that's right in front of us. I mean, Forrest said, I love when I can say things and people don't know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Because people don't understand the meaning of words. And
Right.
so the meaning of words in the poem have to be, the word, we all think we know what the word as means. And we all think we know what the word I means. So it's so, is it something in that? I don't know.
So I'm going to throw out a big question for you.
Okay.
A thought, and I'll run it past you and see what you think. Forrest said that there was a word that was key in the poem. And it was a key word. Well, if we're talking about the gold bug and we're trying to align sight in to find where we're going to align, and Jack said that the blaze couldn't be red. Is that how he said it?
I don't know, but that sounds like right.
The blaze couldn't be red because it was broken, and maybe someone in chat can correct me. I don't have that in front of me right now, but I've been pondering the idea of as I have gone alone in there, as I, the word I is spelled I, or it's spelled EYE.
Right.
And the word that is key could be island. Your eye lands where you need to actually see the clues in the poem.
Ooh,
and how
that's very gold buggy. I like it.
So how could the little girl from India not get past the first two clues? Well, she doesn't have to go any farther because her eyes are going to do the work at the site of where warm waters halt.
But still, okay. But still, then the book would have to unlock the first clues to get us to that point, right?
Absolutely.
So no matter what.
But if people walked past, got to the first two clues, didn't know where they were, the significance of the place, and they walked right past the next seven, why would that be?
Did they go past or walk past? I think he said they went right past.
I could pull it out.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know what? Come to think of it, I think you're right. I think he said they went right past and they walked right past. I think there's two things where maybe that's a slip up where he said walked right past instead of went past. That would rule out the road, driving, that would go back to what Dale had said on Amy Seek's channel, that Boris had told him he was within 100 yards. That would rule out him just driving past it in Esmeralda. And it would put yeah, I like that thought.
And he said fewer in tight focus with a word that is key.
Focus. Eyes has to do with eyes. Mm-hmm. And what if the word that is key is I? Then I mean,
That's what I
I
think
know.
it is.
Right. Me too. I've thought that forever. But the EYE thing, yeah.
And it's key, like key means an island, like Key West.
Oh,
So
okay.
okay, and we know if he used homophones, island and island are homophones. You wouldn't say them the exact same way, but
Right.
like Paposia and Little Popo Aggie.
Right. And twisting words is like a thing, is an obvious. He told us that he does that.
In the
He
very
told us
beginning of
that.
the book. Yeah. And he said
Yes.
he worked, um, he looked up words so that he would use them so he knew the definitions. And then he said he looked up words so that they weren't in the dictionary. And Shannon Utz did a video, and I don't know if I've already said this in another show, but Shannon Utz did a video, which I found really fascinating, on blazes. And she said, Forrest mentioned in an interview that a scar on a rock is a blaze or could be a blaze. And she, in fact, said that is not in the dictionary.
Oh, yeah, yes. So is that ruling out? So does that mean rule out scar on a rock? Or rule in because it's the only one that's not?
Right. And you can't be sure, but he points out in the book all the other ones, but he doesn't put out the scar on the rock. And he does on 138, he talks directly about the Rosetta Stone and being the way to find, it was a key. Basically, it's a key to languages.
Well, we know the Rosetta Stone. I mean, that's a huge in play, so there's a key to languages, I like what you just said. Tony Rusi, is it on the old Fountain Flats Trail off the Madison? I'm just reading chat. RF, who the heck are you? That's Gidelcon, K-Pro. K-Pro, disagree. Most definitely confirmed. F said that, and I presented the quote on your show. Ooh, disagreements happening in chat. Don't even know about. There is still a logical leap, not said as a definite. Penny said walked past. Oh, RF's the shadow of Forrest Fenn. Huh. Okay. I was just seeing what the people in chat thought. What did Tony Rusi have? I can't. Oh, now my Manita Marito says, Susie and Huli, ojo caliente means warm eye.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, ojo is eye. So me in the middle. And then I'm looking at the word ojo as written O-J-O. J and I used to be the same letter in ye old English.
Really?
You go back to the first dictionary, you open to the letter I and J, it says I/J. I and J are considered the same thing. And the only word that they have in there that starts with an I is the word I.
Wow.
As in self.
I've heard you say that, but not in this context. That's interesting, Susie.
So and going back to the first dictionary is kind of like going back to the Rosetta Stone, like he said he looked words up in a dictionary. What if it was the first dictionary that he was using? And what if these words in the poem were always, and that would tie Jack's idea of it being an English major or an English, somebody that knew the English language well, using a ye old dictionary to look up these words. Words changed. In fact, there was no definition for blaze whatsoever in the first dictionary. Blaze was not a word.
Really?
Didn't make the dictionary. Yeah. So that evolved so it's just really interesting to go, yeah, it seems like all this acquired knowledge that all of us have has to add up to something. Like, how
One of
I
these
should just,
people are going to be live, and you're gonna like break it loose, and you're gonna be like, "Holy shit, that's it!"
would that be fun?
It all makes sense, and we're all gonna like go
All of a
crazy.
sudden it's going to be, oh my God, it's going to click and boom, it's going to, one of these days, God, I need that click, but the
We
more
all
we
do.
keep talking about and adding these things up, yeah, we all do. We all need that click. We all need this to just fall into place and make sense um yes, so we can let this go. I mean, I can't let this go. I can't see anybody telling me to get over it or get move on with your life, go find another, all that stuff. All it does makes me want to flip the bird. I mean, it's like, screw you. It's like not an option. It's not an option. Not in my mind. I don't think I will ever be able to let this go until it's known. So might as well figure it out then.
Right on. And you know what? We have so much more information. We have, Jack's words, we have Shiloh's words, we have, we can rule some things out that we couldn't rule out before. So it's super, I don't know. I think it's
Yeah, we have
incredibly
a state. And it was always like, if we just had it narrowed down to one state, it would be so easy, right?
right.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Kpro says we need many more thumbs up. I don't know about that. What would be enough for you to move on? How much do you need? I need to know how the poem was solved. I need the solve. I need to read the poem as Jack read the poem, and I need to know, I need to see how he took that piece and put it to this piece, where he found this and went to that, and I need the mechanics. The place is secondary. That is revealed by the poem, revealed by the mechanics, by figuring it out, and so the place to me is secondary. Jack could come out and say it was wherever. It was right outside of West Yellowstone, inside the park, whatever. He could come up with everything, but that's never going to be okay with me until he says, here's how I unlocked it. Here is the clues you missed. Here is it. I don't know. It is. And Adam says, it is interesting to me that searchers need varying levels of answers to be able to put it behind them. Yeah, isn't it? This is all like everyone has their own level of what confirmation means to them. Like some are so certain it was their spot, they're over it, they're, like, I know it had to be there. I don't care what Jack has to say, it's that, and well, you guys all know, but you guys, what I would ask, there's 57 people here right now. 57 people are looking for answers, and what would it take for each of you guys to find closure? Is it the location, just knowing the location, what it was, or how the puzzle was solved? Is it this has got to be how the puzzle is solved for me. There you go. I'm going to have to do it myself, right? Or keep waiting. I mean, I think Jack would be a fool not to sell this story of how he unlocked it, unless he absolutely cannot. And he's counting on big mouths like me and all of us to do it for him. That could be a distinct possibility, that he wants this for us, like he wants us to figure this out. And maybe it's maybe that's what we're all waiting for here. I don't know. Mary Green, that's not where I saw double X. Oh my God, I wanted to search there. My nephew talked me into Lamar Valley for 4 days. I'm just trying to read the chat. I'm with you, Susie. I want to know how the poem leads you to the chest, step by step. I think that is absolutely human nature, the way our mind works. I think it's something that we, anyone that's been a part of this, all need. And I think a lot of it too has to do with how invested you were in the beginning. Like some people that were not as, or just, kind of checked in and checked out every now and again, or just thought it was, just like a family picnic sort of fun thing, bought the book and went running right to Yellowstone and do, and then never looked at it again. They have a different level of the need to know, I think, than somebody like myself, who put every single day, it was what I wanted to do. It's what I did because it's what I wanted to do. It was my passion. It was my hobby. It was my Fennhaven, away from real life yuck. And I have a lot of time invested, and which is fine with me. Obviously, it was fine with me, and it still is fine with me how much time I've spent on this chase. But the idea of never getting to know after that much time is unacceptable. Is something I can't, that's a pill I cannot swallow. Let's put it that way. I think Jack may not be permitted to speak about it directly, just like Shiloh. Seriously. Right. I think you're right, K-Pro. Maybe that's it. Maybe he has to, funnel this through. Wait, I saw my name in there. It went. I love Slough Creek, but everything over the last month points to the fire hole or 9 Mile hole, in my opinion. 9 Mile hole is on, that made me think of the photograph that is immediately before the Gold and More chapter, or isn't it? No, that's that's Flywater. Firehole. That's direct. You're right. I even have I have the fire hole. Oh, I don't know. Written across the top. When I don't know when, but okay, this is what I'm talking about. Does it says 9 Mile Hole right on it. Highway hole. And this one always bothered me, that father, father, father. There's 3 pictures of father, and they say father, and then it has mom, not mother, mom. So that, that.
Is that also wow? If you turn it upside down, if you pull a Sloan?
Yeah, it's a wow.
If you put it upside down and backwards?
Yeah.
Her signature?
Oh my God. Okay. Big Hollows is what
You taught me that one, by the way. That's your fault.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Menata Marino says, Susie Hooley, 9 Mile Hole is also Mount Haynes. Both are his father's fishing. Oh, both. Yeah. In Rambling Rumblings, he said only one alone could fish there. Oh, you know what? That's one thing I haven't read is Rumbling Ramblings, and I'm not even certain if I know what that really is. What is it? Where did it get published? Do you know, Huli?
So I'm not 100% sure that this information is right, but it's my understanding that he started his memoirs in the notebook of Ramblings and Rumblings, and then it was the precursor to his book, and had some more personal stuff in there possibly. And that he kept that secret with it, but he gave it, well, I shouldn't say secret, but Gotti Schwartz had it, I believe, and I think Dale had a copy as well, potentially. And he asked them not to publish it until he passed. And Jack, my understanding is, I sent him an email and he said he had not read it before he found the treasure. Believe whatever you want to believe there, but
basically, aren't they the same stories that were in like the Bozeman Chronicle now, or that Jack just said on the confirmation video? Basically, Rumblings and Ramblings, isn't that a collection of the stories that he had already published, and also like that were in the Bozeman Chronicles, is what I understand. Oh, is a journal by K-Pro says, is a journal by Forrest, but has differences from what came out. Jack said he did not have Rumbling Rambling, but he gave to Dale, Cynthia, and a few others. Oh, Forrest gave that. But it does seem that Jack took the information that was different. He said it. He said he looked at what was different from, and that's where Minotaur Marino keeps saying Firehole. I mean, that was taken out of the original stories, and that had nothing to do with Rumbling and Rambling. If we take that Rumbling Rambling out of the equation, that story was still published as a newspaper article, right? So But the Tony DeCappo article mentioned 9 Mile Hole. Still, until we can connect that to the poem, or figure out how, that's what, how to connect what we see in the book into the poem, forget all the other noise,
Yeah, I mean, he said the finder will have read my book. I'd be curious to know how much Jack studied the book.
I don't think any more than any of us.
We definitely got some ideas very, very quickly about where, Forrest wanted to die and what or where Warm Waters halted.
Basically, he said he read everything that Forrest had written to get
Mhm.
a grasp on the guy. You know, he said that in that confirmation bias thing. You know, I
Mhm.
don't know. I'm getting tired. Okay, it's already midnight here. I think I'm gonna wind it down.
Oh
Um,
yeah, don't let me hold you up, please. But thank you for allowing me to come on and goof off a little bit.
oh, thank you so much for joining me and hanging with me. Yeah, this was a good show. I can't wait to listen to it back and hear what I said.
I can't wait to listen to the beginning.
Oh, I don't even know. But
Thank you, Susie.
okay.
Good night. Have a good
Yeah, good night, Lily. Thank you so
rest of
much.
your weekend. Take care.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye. Um, okay, you guys, I'm gonna push buttons and end this, and I thank you all for stopping in, all 52 of you. And if you guys leave me a comment below, let's keep the conversation going. Listen to that Jack confirmation bias video and see what you come up with. Okay. See you again soon.